Hello, Gravitrons. I'm more gravity. Let's play chess. Okay. Now this game, I felt I played strongly, though the accuracy report says I played good, just not great, not great, but good. My opponent didn't play all that accurately, much at all. But I want to review this game because I think it's a straightforward game to review, and it demonstrates quite a few fundamentals. King's Pawn opening, King's Gambit, King's Gambit decline. This is one of the most classical ways to decline the King's Gambit, the other being Knight C6, and under the idea of the best way to decline a gambit is to accept a gambit, we just of course keep in mind that E takes F4 is also very viable, very playable, but we're talking about declines more naturally here rather than in jest. So these are the two main ways to decline the King's Gambit. Knight F3, Knight C6, Bishop C4, some normal developing moves. Bishop C4 I thought was active enough to warrant the move to C4 without pinning the knight on C6. And weren't aiming at the F7 square, which if you were watching just a few moments ago, ended up being the focus of White's main attack, a winning one at that. So right now this might be a good move, but in the long term, in a opening as chaotic and weird and tactical as the King's Gambit, attacking F7 early is not a bad idea. Bishop E7 controls some of White's more aggressive advances. It's not a bad move. And then I castle kingside, another good move. Get your king to a safer position. He is, as is also often the case in the King's Gambit, somewhat vulnerable on the G1 A7 diagonal. Black still has two pieces that can check him along that diagonal, even from distance. Well, I guess some of the pawns can do it too, but they have to get quite close, and then we've got tons of concerns. So with Knight F6, I thought this is, I don't know, Torch is kind of being critical of things here. That Knight F6 is an inaccuracy. No, it's not. This is a fine move. Black's gonna play. Well, first of all, Black's threatening on to capture on E4, and Black wants to castle to avoid the mayhem. And Knight F6 is not a bad move. So I capture on E5. It's the best move. We want to liquidate this pawn in part to make way for White's dark squared bishop to become a strong part of the game. It doesn't have to be captures on E5 and then D3. It could be to D4 as well. As sometimes a more straightforward way to challenge the center. Knight takes E5, Knight takes E5, and D takes E5. Just a position. This is a good position. Maybe White has a very slight edge. It's it's a game. It's a game. Let's see how it goes. I played D3 partly. I played D3 here. It's also considering other options that would help defend the pawn at E4, and I thought D3 made the most sense. Knight C3 makes a good deal of sense too, but it's your knight. You want him to do something active in the middle game, active in this part of the game, not just babysitting on E3. And then the second part of the secondary reason for pawn to D3. The bishop at C1 is now free to become a strong presence in the game along the C1 to H6 diagonal. Castle's kingside. Black has a little bit safer king. White's king is not quite as safe. But if white feels it necessary, he can always take time out to play king to h1. And then he'll have a safe king, safe for maybe background attempts. And that's quite a bit, quite a ways in the future. So I played bishop to e3 mostly to stop. There's another way of dealing with white's unsafe king. We get a piece out onto the playing board, and we're going to stop checks along the g1, a7 diagonal. e3. Torch doesn't like this move and considers this one the best move. King h1, just getting out of trouble more naturally, perhaps. I played bishop to e3, and Torch rightly thinks that knight to g4 is a direct challenge. The knight's protected. Bishop is not. The bishop is being attacked. This could be bad. During the game, I had thought maybe just bishop to f2, and if knight takes f2, then rook takes f2, and we still got our attack on f7, and now without the knight in the way. So those were my thoughts in the game. I played a4 here. It's part trick, part. It's not really part trick. It's a space grab that intends, for instance, if b5, then a takes b5, and the natural looking move a takes b5 falls to rook takes a8, and I've snatched a full rook, even upon, well, for the moment, because then after pawn takes c4, that probably would capture back. Pawn takes c4. We've got a lot of major piece action, and white has gone up to the tune of the exchange and a pawn. There's a lot of material. So a4 is a good move for that. You want to allow your opponent chances to fail, or allow your opponent chances to make a mistake. It's one of the ideas of playing strong and practical chess. Allow your opponent the opportunity to make a mistake. Bishop g4. It's a daring move, right? This is kind of bold. I think I dealt with it well and calmly with queen to e2. We'll just sidestep out of it. We have some flexibility in that queen's moves in the future. The queen is strong here. She's on the back rank, but I mean, look at her coverage. All the squares she covers. The queen is very strong here. So, bishop g4 is a good move. I like it. I thought my opponent played well here to challenge the queen, but also develop a piece while doing so, and in a very daring spot. I mean, it's almost a swashbuckling move. Swashbuckling is a great word. It's kind of daring, braggadocious, and show-offy all together. Swashbuckling had a lot to do with swordplay in the sort of the late Renaissance period. Queen to d7. I like it again. Black is gonna protect this advanced unit twice, and in doing so, if I want to try to kick that unit with h3, then white is treading in some very dangerous waters. For instance, bishop takes h3, g takes h3, queen takes h3, and the king has no pawns nearby. We know we have that black would have sacrificed the bishop for these two pawns, and in material wise that's not normally a good trade, but man, in that position the queen has white's king almost completely, imprisoned. Although now I see f2 is open. But regardless, without these two pawns here and the queen on h3, there's still a dark squared bishop and a knight to be played. The pawn storm could be faster than it would normally seem, and who knows if maybe a rook could find his way into the game too. So queen d7, good move. It is a good move, strong, developing, and attacking move. I thought I had to get into this area near my king to be strong on defense, while also with queen g3, then h3 is viable, captures, queen captures. Then it doesn't work out for black. Queen captures and pawn captures, and I've won bishop for 2 pawns, but the queens are off the board and white's safe enough. So I thought for that reason, and for the reason that if the bishop moves, there are attacking moves like bishop to h6, threatening mate, and some of the more natural ways of dealing with it, lose the exchange on f7. Here I made a miss. I think mostly queen takes e5 as an extra pawn, threatens the bishop's protected, but this is let's tone it down to just queen takes e5, picks up a free pawn. Torch wants some of these other moves that don't seem quite as natural to me. Is there a problem with queen takes e5 along the lines of rook to e8, or black's worried about f7, then rook along the lines of rook f to e8, or if black's worried about f7, then maybe rook a to e8. Be a strong way to set up some type of discovered attack against white. Bishop to h6. The problem with bishop to h6 is demonstrated by my opponent's rebuttal, by my opponent's response or move. Bishop to h6, and then bishop to g6. Now my bishop's under attack because I put him there, and I think I take time out to play him away, and it turns out the torch indicates this is a blunder. So, bishop to h6, not such a great move. The knight to h5 hits at the queen directly, and it looks like white might be in a bit of trouble. Queen takes e5 puts me up for the moment in terms of material. Black initiates this swap of bishops. But my initial plan is still actually in play. The attack on f7 is still alive in some way. Oh, and here the major move of the game. I must admit, this was the major move of the game. Part of the reason I go over these games is after I play them, I don't remember. My friends, I don't always remember the game and what the key move or 2 moves were. I play them and I feel good, but I don't remember the game. So with queen takes g6, I've gone up a full bishop, and it's gonna end up being it. Threaten some queen, threaten to swap queens, get my rook into action, my a1 rook into action on the b file. We have so much force beating down on f7, or threatening to beat down on f7, that black will succumb to this attack. Black will succumb to this attack on f7. and that I also have an extra piece, so this game is pretty much over. White's gonna win through some sort of overwhelming kingside attack. My opponent made a few errors to expedite things, and with king gets this check at g8 and is forced mate in any event with queen takes g7 checkmate to follow quite soon. All right, so that was fun. I had fun. I had fun playing. That's it. All right, my friends. It's Friday afternoon. I've had a blast, a fun, exciting time teaching or reviewing these games. So I'm going to sign off here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Gravitrons. I'm more gravity. Have a great night.